So last Sunday, I asked us all, and I gave us all the opportunity to put something into practice for gratitude. Our theme this month is grateful,
of Ustream
full
producer.
of greatness, having gratitude, but really focusing on being full of greatness. So I suggested to us all that before we went to bed that night, that we found 3 things that we were grateful for during our day. Did y'all do it? Uh-huh. So most of you said yes. Only you know whether you did. So to find 3 things that you had gratitude for, 3 things that you mostly that you weren't
This
expecting.
is a demonstration
and then the next
of
day when you
Ustream
woke
producer.
up, to start the process of the minute you wake up, before you get out of bed, to find 3 things in your life that you are absolutely grateful for. How many of you remember to do that the next day? Great, excellent. The rest of you, try it. Try it tonight and then tomorrow. So that was Monday morning. Now, I will tell you that last Monday, Sunday, Monday, the last number of months as we've been preparing to leave the NoHo Arts Center,
This is a demonstration
it always
of
was like,
Ustream
we're
producer.
leaving on Sunday. You know, it was like, no, we're going to be out of there on Friday. No, actually, it's probably going to be Saturday. No, it's probably Sunday. No, we're taking another week to get out of there. So we ended up still needing an extra day. And then we had a little mishap with our 18-foot truck that we rented and lost the key to during packing. And try getting... Oh, you see, you all think it's different.
This is a demonstration
Kevin
of
lost the key.
Ustream producer.
It wasn't me, but thank you for thinking that. So, yeah, I know when you're turning. I get it. So we spent a lot of time waiting. And then, to make it even better, Kevin has to drive for 2 hours to Olympic Boulevard at rush hour to get a new key. He does it, you know, Matthew and Christian, they all just kind of laid around. We ordered pizzas, laid around, and I went and walked around the theater
This
and did
is a
video
demonstration of
for myself to
Ustream
remember.
producer.
And so I had a great time. Oh, and we changed the marquee to saying Global 2 Center has moved. So we got a lot of the work done. Kevin gets back. The key doesn't work. They gave him the wrong key. So then we had to wait while they came and brought the right key. But we decided, you know what? We're just going to do our thing. We are going to start packing our cars. And we got so much done. So that was Monday. And then Kevin had to fly off to Texas. So Tuesday,
This is a demonstration
when I
of
went to bed Monday
Ustream
night,
producer.
I had my 3 things that I was grateful for. And I will tell you what one of them was. As I went to bed, I was like saying, what 3 things could I be grateful for today that I wasn't expecting? Keeping my calm. I was like, I stayed totally present and patient during this whole thing, even no matter how long it took me to get it all done. And I was very proud of myself. Of course, I am a minister. One would think I would just do that naturally. So I did my gratitude. And then Tuesday morning, I woke up.
This is a
and I was
demonstration
very
of
excited.
Ustream
And I
producer.
was very excited to wake up on Tuesday morning, and I had the 3 things I was most happy for. And I have to be honest with you. One of the things I had such gratitude for was the fact that we were going to, by the end of the day, have our first female president. Now, I honor and respect every single person's vote in this country. I do not have that thing where I'm like, there's the Republicans, there's the Democrats. I see a nation of people who all spoke their truth for whatever reason.
This is a
just so that those
demonstration of
you here
Ustream
who did
producer.
vote on the other side of who, no, those of you who picked the winner, I respect and honor you. So please don't ever think that I have any sense of you chose right, you chose wrong. Don't have that. But I was grateful for what I thought was going to happen. And then my 2 other things. And then I went to the theater to hand over the keys. And how many of you saw my Facebook picture of my feet? Yeah. So as I was waiting for him, I climbed up into the back of the theater. And I was sitting there.
This is
and I
a
wanted to take a picture, but my
demonstration
feet
of
were in the way, and I'm
Ustream
trying to move them, and I
producer.
was like, wait, I should be in this picture. So I took the picture of my feet and the theater. And I must tell you, I had a very emotional, charged afternoon sitting there, waiting for the new owner to come and pick up the keys. And I just saw all the shows we had produced there, and I just had such memories flooding my mind. But what I had more of then the memories was this. I sat in that theater and I thought about how it had housed my
This
ministry.
is a demonstration of Ustream
Not the theater
producer.
so much, not the theater part of it, although that's a big part of our ministry in this arts community, but how this building gave birth to the Global Truth Center, to the NoHo Arts Center for New Thought, and then the Global Truth Center. How that building gave me so much to a great platform, a beautiful space, and an energy that I absolutely loved. Now, we'd already had our first service here, and I was through the moon about what this space felt like. So it wasn't that I was longing, I was wishing I was
This is a
staying there at
demonstration
all.
of
I felt
Ustream
really
producer.
good about everything that was happening. But I got it. Sometimes we think that a specific room, a specific four walls, or a specific relationship, or a specific job, or a specific vote that you're about to make, a specific outcome that you're expecting, we think that that is the thing that is housing us. We think that that is the thing that is holding us together and supporting us.
This is a demonstration of Ustream producer.
It's just a microcosm for the macrocosm, because what I recognized was, while the NoHo Arts Center supported me and held me so lovingly in its energy, without those walls, the rest of the universe was doing the exact same thing. And that we are wallless. We are beyond what we say are the definitions, the defining corners of our lives. And I got such a sense of oneness. I had such a sense of being one
This
with
is a
everything.
demonstration
I
of
felt
Ustream
so
producer.
jubilant. And when I handed over the keys, I walked around the building and showed him everything, and I felt such gratitude and love. And I left and I drove away. And as I'm driving away, part of me was like, don't you want to cry? And I was like, I don't want to cry. I feel really good. I feel so one with everything. So that was Tuesday afternoon. And then I went home, and I was so excited that I was going to be with Will and Nora, my children,
This is
to
a
watch the election.
demonstration
I was so
of
excited to be with
Ustream
Nora
producer.
and sit with her as the first female president was elected. Never even occurred to me it was going to go any other way. So we're sitting there and watching it, and I'm making dinner, and everything's going along really beautifully, and all of a sudden, all these votes are coming in, and Nora came like charging out of her bedroom. She goes, "Are you seeing this?" I was like, "Just trust. It's all going to work out fine. Don't you know what I believe? Everything unfolds perfectly." And then all of a sudden, I realized that my everything unfolds perfectly had a
This
criteria.
is a demonstration of Ustream producer.
Unfolded perfectly. Not consciously, by the way, and this is what I'm really here to talk about tonight. Not consciously, subconsciously. Because I had to then backpedal as it kept going on, and Nora just, she started asking me questions about, does this mean all of my rights as a woman are gone now? And I was like, no, I'm not hoping you'll ever need those rights, but no. I said, no, it doesn't. I said, fear cannot be at the center of this. We can't fear anything. If life unfolds perfectly, and
This
it
is a
does,
demonstration of
and it's
Ustream
what is
producer.
meant to happen so that the emergent evolution of good is going to happen, then that's what is happening. I can't stand back far enough to understand why. Nobody can. And I loved what Reverend Sharon said, because 50% of this country is elated, and 50% of this country is upset. Isn't that kind of how it goes every 4 years? Every 4 years. 4 years ago, there were people, my relatives, who were shocked that we were getting another 4 years of
This
Obama,
is a demonstration
who,
of
according to my Aunt
Ustream
Jerry,
producer.
was not a citizen of the United States. So you just have to understand that, is there truth or is there not truth? Does life unfold perfectly or does it not? And if you believe that life does not unfold perfectly, then you are setting yourself up to be a victim, because you then believe that something can perpetrate upon you. So I got to be a minister earlier this morning, too, to give a talk this morning at Spirit Works. And Kevin had said to me earlier when I said,
This is a
now I can talk in the
demonstration
morning,
of
too,
Ustream
when churches
producer.
need me. And he was like, that's what this is about? We're doing double duty now? I thought we were going to ease our life up a little bit with this later service. And so I've agreed only once a month. So that was it. We were done today. That was it. Yeah, once a month this month. No, once a month. So here's a quote by Ernest Holmes. Here's what he says. So everybody take a deep breath, because I want to process this with you. He says this:
This is a
the whole
demonstration of
purpose
Ustream
of the science
producer.
of mind is to reconcile the apparent separation of the spiritual world, which must be perfect, with the material world, which appears imperfect. The entire purpose of the science of mind is to reconcile the apparent separation of the spiritual world, which must be perfect, with the material world, which appears imperfect. So let's start with the spiritual world, which Ernest Holmes says must be perfect.
This is
Now,
a
in
demonstration
1927,
of
when he
Ustream
wrote the book, The
producer.
Science of Mind, and this quote comes from that book, in 1927, he was referring to the spiritual world, which must be perfect, as the absolute. Right? The absolute, that which is absolute perfection. And there is that in this universe that is untouchable, unchangeable. Now, when he goes on and says the material world, which appears imperfect, he's saying that in the world of form, there are things that don't seem so perfect. So this is him in 1927. So take
This
it to
is a
the election.
demonstration of
There is a
Ustream
divine
producer.
absolute perfection that is unchangeable. And then in the material world, there may be some issues and some problems. We all see that all over the globe, yes? Okay. This is 1927 that he says this. Now, y'all know he died in 1960. By 1960, he wasn't necessarily saying that way. By 1960, what he was saying was, there is only the absolute. There is only God. There is only good. There is only
This
perfection.
is a demonstration
there is only
of
the
Ustream
absolute.
producer.
And the relative, therefore, is the absolute at the level of the relative. Now, I know I've talked about this before, but I think I'm going to be even clearer today, especially in light of what we're talking about. So, somebody called me the first responder this week because I had so many emails and so many phone calls and people crying to me about the results. I've never experienced what I've experienced at this election. I was even surprised that some of my relatives called me crying.
This is a
And what was
demonstration
interesting to
of
me is that they called
Ustream
me crying,
producer.
and I know they voted for him. Really, but they did. They called me crying. And they were like, I know, and I anyway. So, I love that they actually thought of me as a minister for the first time ever. It took this. I'm very grateful to Donald Trump for that. So this is what Ernest Holmes said in 1927. In 1960, he said something a little bit different, that it's all the absolute at the level of the relative.
This
So
is a
what that means
demonstration
is
of Ustream
God
producer.
is everywhere. The perfection of the universe is everywhere. The absolute is everywhere. If you are someone struggling with addiction, if you are in the midst of your addiction, if you are an addict laying in the gutter, you are living the absolute at that level. It's all God. It can't not be God. And when I say God, I really mean greatness on demand, the energy that you are. So it doesn't matter what level you are living the absolute. There is no duality. There's not
This
the
is a
absolute and the
demonstration
relative.
of
There's just your
Ustream
experience
producer.
of the absolute, which sometimes isn't so great. How many of you have issues? Okay. And I'm sure many of you had a lot more issues on Tuesday. Or maybe Wednesday, by the time you woke up. So here's the thing about this evolution that Ernest Holmes finally brought us to. And just so you know, I love the Science of Mind textbook. I keep acting like it's over here. I love the
This is a
Science of Mind
demonstration
textbook.
of Ustream producer.
Very much. I love it. I study it. I read it every day. I use it as my reference. But I got to be really honest. I'm much more interested in over here. I really am. I'm much more interested in what Ernest Holmes said is going to happen from what he first started talking about. And I am really interested in so much ancient wisdom and divine wisdom. I do never want to be thought of as just a religious science minister. That's not who I am. I am a religious science minister. That's where I got
This
my
is a
degree.
demonstration
But
of
I
Ustream
want all
producer.
truth to meld together into one thing, because it does. And that is the truth. So when I looked at Tuesday and when I was talking to people and trying to make sense for people, the only truth that really holds up is, do you or do you not believe that life is unfolding at the highest level for your good? we get so caught up in whether or not our version of it is happening. And I
This
even
is a
realized for
demonstration
myself,
of
I
Ustream
had an
producer.
outcome that I expected and that made me happy. And then there was an outcome that happened that did not make me happy. And I had to literally step aside from that and ask myself, what do you believe, James? I believe that the absolute is happening at all times, and that there is only good, and that I can't stand back far enough to know why this is the way this had to happen. But I'll tell you one thing, this election
This is a demonstration
did one
of
thing that
Ustream
no election
producer.
before it has ever done. It has made this country completely transparent. People are no longer afraid to say what they think. If anything, this election was an election of people saying we want change. We want there to be a new way of governing. We want all of the crap that has ended up being politics to be thrown aside. Let's get back to a world where we can really all get along. It may not have looked like that.
This is a
It may not have
demonstration
sounded
of
like that.
Ustream producer.
But that's not important to me because I know the truth. I know the spiritual truth. So that's what Ernest Holmes is saying, because at the end of this, he says in this quote, our job, the only thing religious science is here to do, is give us a way to reconcile the spiritual world and the material world. That means give us a way to reconcile the absolute with the relative. How do we do that? How do we reconcile this? How do we make this so that we can walk through our lives
This is a
trusting
demonstration
100%
of
that
Ustream
this
producer.
world is absolutely unfolding, not only perfectly, but it's bringing forth exactly what every single one of us needs. Because here's the other thing. You have two choices. You can be the element of change that your mind can create in this world, or you can complain. It's your choice. It's my choice. It's interesting because when I picked my word for boot camp this time, it was honor.
This is a demonstration
And I really
of
wasn't sure
Ustream
what honor
producer.
meant, but honoring outcomes, honoring voices, honoring what a country decides, that is so important. It is so important to honor. But here's what else it's important to honor. It's important to honor what you feel. It's so important. And that's why I liked when Alex picked this song. I said, when I listened to the lyrics, and I was like, okay, what are the three things I do when my life falls apart? And I know many of you felt your life fall apart. I know that
This
many of
is
you
a
felt that way because many of you
demonstration of
called me and said,
Ustream
"My life is falling
producer."
apart." And I get it. So what are the three little things? Well, one is gratitude. One is love only, to forgive everything and to start over. But from a place of truth, from a spiritual place of truth, absolutely understanding that there is a spiritual divine energy at work here. It's really happening. It is really supporting all of us. So, as I went through the week this week, and things just kept unfolding one
This
after
is
the
a
other, and things just
demonstration
kept,
of
you're
Ustream
looking
producer.
on TV and you see all the people, walking through the streets. There was a moment when my son said to me, he said, so don't you think they're all kind of like wasting their time and energy? Why is everybody, why are they picketing? Why are they walking the streets? Nothing's going to change. I said, yeah, well, they will change because they will get out what they need to get out. I will get out what I need to get out. Everyone in this room needs to get out whatever you need to get out.
This is a
We must be
demonstration
willing
of
to
Ustream
process
producer.
what's going on. We cannot be the religion, the church, the community that sticks its head in the sand and says, well, I'm just going to wait for 4 years and see what happens. That doesn't behoove us because change happens from within. Change happens from within my mind. As Ernest Holmes says, everything that shows up in the world of form shows up in the world of form because somewhere it is equal in the world of mind. So, this country showed that it was equal to this
This is a
president who will take
demonstration
over.
of Ustream
That's the
producer.
way it works. And if you don't believe that regardless of the outcome, good will come, then there's work to do. That's the reconciling Ernest Holmes is talking about. So, a little story to close this. I was watching my dogs this week, and I have, you all know, I have these two. They're now, what are they, 6 months, Kevin? 6 months old. male and female. I don't know what I was thinking about that. And suddenly they're suddenly
This is a
starting to realize they're
demonstration
male and
of
female.
Ustream Producer.
And she doesn't like it so much that he's recognizing that. And so she's becoming very hostile towards him at times. And so there was a morning, Kevin was in Texas all week, and it was just me. And I'm sitting in my backyard, and the elections happened, it's over. I think it was Thursday. And I'd talked to many people, counseled many people. And I'm sitting in the backyard, and the two of them are just fighting and fighting. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at them, and I went, oh my God, it's our country.
This is a demonstration
And I
of
went,
Ustream
let's see how they
Producer.
work it out without me. And they just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And then I went, clearly, they can't work it out without me. So I got up, I walked over, and I was like, stop it. And they didn't. They kept going and going. And they were like, I could just hear them in their minds going, oh, shut up. And until finally I went down and grabbed each one of their collars and sat them down facing each other. And I was just like, now stop. Just look at each other.
This is
You
a
love each other.
demonstration of Ustream Producer.
You are half brother and half sister. You share a father in Texas, that purple state. So, and I'm standing there watching these dogs, right? And they kind of, but then I got loving. I was like, and I'm petting them. I'm like, guys, come on, we got to make this work. You can't keep fighting. And I'm thinking about the election. I'm thinking about our country. But here's what I got. They didn't go back to fighting either.
This is a demonstration of
you remember,
Ustream
and I'm
Producer.
sitting at the table watching this, reading the autobiography of a yogi. Right. So I'm reading about, Yogananda and all this. I'm in such peace and bliss. And these two are like in kill mode. Here's what I got and what I want to leave you with. You can sit back and watch the world fight itself out and think it will just work itself out. You can even step in and try to separate them with your own energy of anger.
This
or
is a
your own energy
demonstration of
impatience.
Ustream Producer.
Or you can step in and physically, mentally, consciously, lovingly bring it all together. That's who we get to be. That's who we in New Thought get to be. Don't choose sides. There are no sides. Even your side is not a side because there are no sides anymore. Now there's just time for the two sides to look lovingly at one another.
This is a demonstration
and
of
understand
Ustream
that
Producer.
they all come from the same Father. And I don't mean God the Father in heaven. I mean that thing in all of us that is the creative energy that has created everything. Everything is made from the same stuff. And the sooner we understand that, the sooner we get that, the sooner we live from that, the sooner we will not have experiences like we've just had. The world will not be so polarized. And we will live
This is a
together
demonstration
in much more
of
peace and
Ustream
harmony.
Producer.
But it starts with every single one of us by stepping into it and doing what we know how to do best. Use our minds for change. Namaste.